Hey, welcome to How to Build Your Own Home. We're here at a new job. We originally called this the Santa Clara West job, but this is basically in an unincorporated area of the county. That's something to keep in mind when you buy some land. Where is the permitting office going to be? If it's usually in a city, if it's not in a city, it's typically in a county, and that's typically called unincorporated county. And this is really unincorporated county, even though we called it Santa Clara West. It's really unincorporated county of the Washington County, southwest part of Utah. We're here at a foundation. We got the footings in. We got the boards up. And the boards need to be up because the plumber can't pull measurements from the thin air. That needs to know where the actual perimeter of the foundation is going to be. So now that the boards are up, plumbers can actually get started on that. A couple things you want to keep in mind when it comes to a slab on grade, which I do a lot of those. The most important utility underground is basically your sewer, all right? You can run all your water lines, hot, water, cold, etc., through the rafter system and all that, but your drainage system, that's all going to be underground. Well, we're going to do both the drainage and PEX and sleeve, which will be in a lot of those drainage, same system, and will come up at various points inside this slab, bringing hot, cold, water, etc., to various points in the home. The advantage to that is you've got all that insulated ground. And although I do have PEX in a sleeve, it's not very well insulated, but it is in a sleeve. That means that you can take the main PEX pipe, pull it all the way through if you need to, and push a new PEX pipe through if for whatever reason you might need to do that. So we've got all that taking place right now. I want to show you a couple things to consider, to look for, especially when you're dealing with a septic. So let's go down this way and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, the plumber needed to know a few things with regard to the utilities on this site. This will have a septic system, and you'll find that to be the case with a lot of county permitting offices, or again, unincorporated county. So I had to come out and actually identify where the septic's going to exit from the foundation. We originally had it over there a few feet, but I really wanted to give a better clearance because that septic system is going to go due north, out this way, and the leach lines are going to go out this way as well. So we came out and marked that. So all of his drains from the entire home are going to come out here, and this will be the deepest, lowest spot for the entire drainage of all the sewer system in the home. And that gives us a lot of elevation. We got plenty of lift for that, so we're really in a good shape for that. Another thing to look at for is gas lines for outside. So let's go over here and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Another utility to deal with. Again, before you pour the slab, you want to make sure you get everything done underground, under the slab that you possibly can. And a lot of that has to do with gas lines outside servicing a fire pit. So we have a gas here that we're going to service a fire pit with, which will go right behind the cameraman right now, which is my son right there. And we've indicated a couple of spots that might work best. Also, you have spigots. You don't want to have a gas line just below a spigot. So we've given a couple of options where they can exit out of the footing, go underground, and service a fire pit that will be over here. That gives them the opportunity to choose, okay, let's do it here. It'll work better. We'll stay away from that spigot. We don't need that mixture of the two. I mean, if you ever seen a gas line come out exactly where a spigot is, that's not going to work out great. So when you give them a couple of options, that's also helpful, especially with the spigot. When you have an outside spigot, it has to be inside a T-wall. So when you got a T-wall like that, your spigot comes right there, and the valve for that spigot is on the inside of that wall, about 12 inches. That's where the valve is. That keeps from freezing. All right, and you need a T-wall in order for that to happen. We'll show you that issue when we actually get that spigot installed. I want to show you now the third utility, which is power, over here in the corner, and this is something also to prepare for when you're dealing with the slab on grade. Okay, the third utility to deal with is the electrical. I don't think this is the right size, but it's good for the example that I'm going to show you right now. This is here is a 90 turn for a conduit, electrical conduit, and that's not 40 gauge, it's 80 gauge. It's rated for what we're trying to use it for. Typically, I like to go 3-inch. A lot of utility companies want a 4-inch conduit, depending upon how far you're pulling. Now we're pulling in excess of 180 feet, and they're going to typically want a wider gauge conduit to pull that length of a 1-aught, and it's a really thick wire. That's about how thick the wire is. So this conduit may not work for that. We need a 3-inch conduit. And that's going to go right in here, and it will come up right at the base of the slab. So the slab's right here. I need to have some clearance, and you'll have a coupler there. And if you're going to get a length to come up there, that's fine. Also find out if they want the bell end. I mean, this sounds weird, but some utility companies want the bell end where you actually fit in a new fitting to be facing towards the power pole, because they don't want to have, there's that little clip inside there where it's kind of hard to get over. They use mule tape and some other tape to pull that whole supply line through. But double check, make sure your size is right. We're going to have a meter panel right here, and that's going to come up right here. If you get that done in advance, you're going to avoid the ugly looking meter on the outside of a home that they do it after the fact and just mount it to the outside of the frame structure. This is all going to get embedded in that, come up through the wall, and we'll have a meter panel over here, and then we'll have a sub panel inside the mechanical room that way. So a lot of things to think about when it comes to underground. Also, same thing for kitchens. If you're running power in a kitchen, you want to have an island in a kitchen. Most jurisdictions are going to ask that you have power brought to that island, and that's per code. Again, that's going to be conduit like that, but 3/4 inch conduit. You'll run into a wall, come up into a wall where you can run the power down through the wall, underground, and into the island. Having all that ready for your pad inspection, or basically your foundation inspection. It's not your pad inspection. Again, thinking of just go through all the utilities: water, sewer, power, gas, etc. Do I have all those things taken care of that need to be taken care of when I'm doing a slab on grade? Because there's no going back. When you pour this, you've poured it, and you want to make sure you go through those steps. Just check the checklists at howtobuildyourownhome.com. Take the first steps course, take the self-managed course. It has all those steps in there for you. And it's really, really helpful to come on a job site. I've got a clipboard in my car over there. I'm without my truck right now. It's getting fixed. With that clipboard, I have all those checklists, and I go to job sites with them, and I make sure that I'm going through that checklist so I don't forget anything. If you're in the trades, you're not going to forget typically. But if you're not in the trades and you're trying to make sure that everything's taken care of, check out the checklist at howtobuildyourownhome.com. Everything there for you to manage the build of your own home.